In recent times, the British royal family has been thrust into one of the most dramatic chapters of its modern history. At the heart of this unfolding turmoil lies a deeply unsettling revelation about King Charles's fragile health, with whispers about his condition growing louder by the hour. Could this mark the twilight of his reign? Meanwhile, another prominent member of the royal family is quietly grappling with their own health concerns. With so much upheaval, the monarchy now stands at a crossroads, and the future has never felt more unpredictable. Amid this backdrop, the royal household has just delivered a significant statement about the king's health, and the world is watching with bated breath. Today, we dive deep into the truth behind the rumors that have been swirling around Buckingham Palace. The subject of King Charles's health has become a constant source of speculation in recent months, ever since the palace disclosed in early 2024 that he had been diagnosed with cancer. That single announcement ignited waves of concern over what lies ahead for the monarchy. While palace officials clarified that the cancer was not prostate-related, they stopped short of revealing the specific type, a move that only intensified public anxiety. The lack of transparency has given rise to countless theories, with many questioning why such critical information remains concealed. As curiosity spreads, so does suspicion, as the nation wonders what is truly being withheld. Though King Charles has carried out his royal responsibilities with dedication, the weight of his diagnosis has forced him to withdraw somewhat from public life to concentrate on his recovery. How this decision will impact the crown and the royal family as a whole remains a pressing question. But before we explore what this could mean for the future of the monarchy, let us reflect on the life journey that brought Charles to the throne. Long before he became king, Charles held numerous noble titles. He was known as Charles Philip Arthur George, the Prince of Wales and Earl of Chester. He also bore the titles of Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Rothesay, Earl of Carrick, Baron of Renfrew, Lord of the Isles, and Prince and Great Steward of Scotland. Born on November 14, 1948 at Buckingham Palace, he was the first child of Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. When his mother became queen in 1952, Charles was named the heir apparent. Unlike his predecessors, he received a more traditional education, beginning at Hill House School in London, continuing at Cheam School in Berkshire, and then moving to Gordonstoun in Scotland, the same school his father once attended. He spent part of his schooling in Australia, studying at Timbertop, a remote campus of Geelong Grammar School in Melbourne. At Trinity College, Cambridge, he pursued anthropology and archaeology before switching to history and graduating in 1970, becoming the first royal heir to earn a university degree. Following royal tradition, Charles received military training for several years before fully stepping into his role. From 1971 to 1976, he served in both the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy. He trained as a pilot at the Royal Air Force College and later joined the Royal Naval College in Dartmouth, gaining first-hand experience aboard naval vessels. Beyond his military service, Charles became known for his outspoken views on architecture, publishing his reflections in his book, A Vision of Britain, in 1989. In 1992, Prince Charles established the Prince of Wales's Institute of Architecture, an initiative that would later transform into the BRE Trust, concentrating on urban development and related ventures. Alongside his academic interests, Charles pursued rigorous military training. He served on multiple naval ships, including HMS Norfolk, HMS Minerva, and HMS Jupiter. He also trained extensively as a pilot, eventually earning certification to fly a variety of aircraft, such as the Chipmunk trainer, the formidable F-4 Phantom II, the Avro Vulcan bomber, and the iconic Hawker Siddeley Hawk T-2. These accomplishments contributed to the unique stature of Prince Charles within the royal family, whose members are often groomed for excellence from an early age. As we explore his personal life, the story of his marriages adds yet another complex layer to his journey. The saga began in 1981 when Charles, then the Prince of Wales, publicly announced his engagement to Lady Diana Spencer in a moment that captivated Britain and much of the world. Charles married Lady Diana Frances Spencer, daughter of the 8th Earl Spencer, on July 29, 1981. Their royal wedding was a global spectacle, broadcast live and viewed by millions across continents. With the ceremony complete, Diana became the Princess of Wales. Their union soon welcomed its first milestone with the birth of Prince William on June 21, 1982, placing him second in the line of succession to the British throne. On September 15, 1984, their second son, Prince Harry, was born. But behind the public image of fairy tale royalty, cracks began to show. The relentless tabloid coverage and widespread rumors of extramarital affairs took a toll on their relationship. On December 9, 1992, it was officially announced that Charles and Diana had separated. Despite the split, both remained committed to their royal duties and shared parenting responsibilities. The separation reached a tragic turning point when Princess Diana died in a car crash on August 31, 1997, inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. Her sudden death stunned the world and ignited countless conspiracy theories. The global outpouring of grief was extraordinary. Her televised funeral drew an audience of around 2.5 billion people, a moment of collective mourning that marked one of the most emotional chapters in modern royal history. At the time of her passing, Prince William was only 15 and Prince Harry just 12. Years later, Charles remarried Camilla Shand, a woman long connected to him through a controversial relationship that had shadowed his first marriage. Camilla Rosemary Shand, the eldest daughter of Rosalind and Bruce Shand, came from a distinguished family with a deep love for country life. She spent much of her early years at their estate in East Sussex, where she developed a fondness for outdoor pursuits. In 1990s, Camilla was formally introduced to high society and later worked as a receptionist, though her vibrant social life remained at the center of her world. Her charm and infectious personality made her widely admired. She first met Prince Charles at a polo match in 1970, before either had married. As the story goes, she once quipped to Charles that her great-grandmother, Alice Keppel, had been the mistress of his great-grandfather, King Edward VII. Their connection blossomed into romance, but marriage was never seriously considered. Charles was seen as too young, and Camilla was not deemed suitable by royal standards, with objections ranging from her background to her perceived lack of aristocratic lineage. Eventually, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, an army officer she had previously dated. That union occurred after Charles embarked on a lengthy naval mission in 1973. Camilla and Andrew wed on July 4, 1973. It was said that she had always harbored affection for him, and during Charles's absence, their bond deepened. Interestingly, Parker Bowles had once dated Princess Anne, Charles's sister, and was even considered part of their close social circle. Camilla and Andrew went on to have 2 children, Tim and Laura. Meanwhile, Charles returned from duty and, under the influence of royal expectations, proceeded to marry Diana. And so the tale of Charles's marriages weaves together duty, tradition, personal longing, and public drama, shaping not only his destiny but the modern image of the British monarchy. During these turbulent years, Camilla Parker Bowles and her husband remained within Prince Charles's close social circle. By 1986, Camilla and Charles had rekindled their romance, reigniting a flame that never truly died. In 92, as Prince Charles and Princess Diana publicly announced their separation, Diana pointed directly to Camilla as the central figure behind their failing marriage. Just a year later, a deeply personal phone conversation between Charles and Camilla was leaked, sending shockwaves through the media and plunging the royal family into scandal. Then, in a televised interview in 1994, Charles admitted to the affair, confirming long-held suspicions and fueling public outrage. In 95, Camilla divorced her husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, who himself went on to marry his own mistress. The following year, Charles and Diana finalized their divorce, bringing an official end to a marriage that had long been fractured. Tragedy soon followed when Princess Diana died in a car crash in 1997, marking a dark chapter in the royal family's history. The public response was swift and unforgiving. While Charles faced criticism, Camilla bore the brunt of the backlash. She later recalled that it was one of the most difficult periods of her life. Yet through it all, the bond between Charles and Camilla remained unshaken. Charles reportedly told his aides that his relationship with Camilla was not up for discussion and would never be sacrificed. Determined to shift public opinion, a carefully orchestrated campaign began to reintroduce Camilla to royal life. In 1998, she quietly met William and Harry. A year later, she and Charles made their first public appearance as a couple, attending her sister's birthday celebration. More appearances followed, and the public gradually began to warm to the idea of the two being together. Their engagement was announced on February 10, 2005, with Queen Elizabeth II publicly giving her blessing. Their wedding, set for April 8, had to be delayed by a day due to the prince's attendance at the funeral of Pope John Paul II. On April 9th, Charles and Camilla were married in a civil ceremony, followed by a religious blessing in St. George's Chapel. Though her new status technically made her the Princess of Wales, Camilla chose instead to be known as the Duchess of Cornwall, a title tied to one of Charles's secondary holdings. These events unfolded during the earlier stages of Charles's life, and while they seemed to challenge long-standing royal conventions, they also revealed his determination to live by his own values without abandoning his sense of royal duty. Years later, the monarchy would face another unexpected turn. After Charles's coronation, a stunning announcement emerged that would again shake the royal household. But before examining this development, it is important to understand the significance of his coronation. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, the throne passed to her son. Prince Charles officially became King Charles, taking on the responsibilities his mother had upheld for over 70 years. At 73, Charles was the oldest monarch to ascend the British throne. On September 9, 2022, in his first address as king, he paid tribute to his mother's extraordinary life of service and vowed, in his own words, to uphold the constitutional values of the United Kingdom for as long as God granted him life. He also named his eldest son, Prince William, the new Prince of Wales. The coronation itself, held on May 6, 2023, marked the first such ceremony in 70 years. Presided over by Archbishop Justin Welby, it featured a modern liturgy under the theme Called to Serve. The ceremony embraced diversity, with readings and hymns in Welsh, Scottish Gaelic, and Irish. And for the first time, female bishops were part of the proceedings. In a historic first, members of the House of Lords representing Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, and Sikh communities presented the royal regalia, symbolizing a new era of inclusion within the monarchy. Then, 1 year after this grand event, news broke that cast a shadow over the early reign of King Charles. The palace announced that the monarch had been diagnosed with a form of cancer, though the specific type was not disclosed. The revelation stunned the nation and the world, marking yet another pivotal moment in the life of a king who had already endured so many trials. The news of King Charles's illness sent shockwaves through the United Kingdom, surfacing deep concern about his health so soon after taking the throne. Buckingham Palace was quick to clarify that the cancer diagnosis was unrelated to the treatment he had recently received. At 75, the king was compelled to pause his public engagements. Just a few months earlier, in January 2024, he had undergone a routine procedure to treat an enlarged prostate. However, during that procedure, doctors uncovered another issue. In February, the palace revealed that this unexpected discovery had been diagnosed as cancer. Although officials confirmed it was not prostate cancer, they offered no further details, choosing instead to keep the nature of the disease private. While undergoing treatment, King Charles stepped back from many of his duties, leaving a noticeable absence in public life. The situation became even more difficult when news broke that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was also battling cancer. She had previously undergone abdominal surgery, and later tests revealed the presence of developing cancer cells. As a result, she began a course of preventive chemotherapy, plunging the royal family into yet another storm of public sympathy and anxiety. Despite the growing concerns, the palace insisted that King Charles had made the choice to speak publicly about his condition in the hope of reducing speculation and promoting greater understanding about cancer. Still, the refusal to reveal the specific diagnosis fueled countless theories and whispers across the country. Some wondered if this silence masked a more serious condition, raising questions about the true state of the king's health and the reasons behind the royal family's guarded response. Even as the public speculated, King Charles made a few carefully planned appearances and quietly resumed select duties. These limited engagements were seen by some as an effort to maintain the monarchy's image and assure the nation that the king remained strong and in command. But behind the carefully curated scenes, concern continued to mount. Then, an unexpected and deeply troubling incident occurred. The royal family's official website briefly displayed the word hospice on King Charles's profile. In the UK, hospice or palliative care is associated with terminal illnesses, often reserved for patients believed to have 6 months or less to live. The term brought with it immediate panic. Social media erupted. Many feared that the king's condition had taken a sudden and devastating turn. Though the palace attributed the appearance of the term to a technical error, the damage had already been done. The online slip only added to the air of uncertainty. This, many said, marked one of the most unsettling periods in modern royal history. In the days that followed, King Charles transitioned to outpatient care, a move that allowed him to continue receiving treatment while fulfilling limited official commitments. Amid this uncertainty, quiet talk of Operation Menai Bridge began to resurface. The code name refers to the detailed plans for the eventual passing of King Charles. Though royal aides stressed that the king remained hopeful and dedicated to his responsibilities, insiders suggested that the palace was quietly preparing for every possible outcome. Operation Menai Bridge, though still confidential in many respects, reflects the balance the monarchy now tries to maintain between modern transparency and ancient tradition. The royal family has embraced a more personal and human tone in recent years, but behind the scenes, centuries-old customs and protocols remain very much alive. As the world watches closely, the future of the British crown once again hangs in a delicate, uncertain balance. Many royal watchers are familiar with the use of secret code words, especially when they relate to the monarch. Among the most recognized is Operation Golden Orb, the carefully crafted term for King Charles's coronation. But this is not the only operation tied to his name. Behind the scenes, preparations for Operation Menai Bridge have already begun, a plan steeped in tradition and shaped by the legacy of centuries. Operation Menai Bridge refers to the extensive and tightly organized protocol that will be put into action following the death of King Charles. It outlines every step of the national response, from the initial announcement in the official mourning period to the arrangements for his state funeral. This plan ensures a smooth transfer of power, allowing the kingdom to navigate the grief with solemn dignity as it welcomes a new sovereign. Every detail respects the long-standing customs surrounding the end of a monarch's reign. But King Charles is not the only royal facing a personal battle. In March 2024, Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales, revealed that she too had been diagnosed with cancer. Months later, in September, she shared the news that she had completed her chemotherapy. Still, the specific type of cancer was never disclosed to the public. As a result of her illness, Kate was forced to step away from her usual duties. The weight of her role as Princess of Wales had to be passed on, with other members of the royal family taking on her responsibilities. She spent several quiet months out of the public eye, focusing on rest, recovery, and the support of her family. During this time, Prince William took on additional responsibilities, stepping into a more prominent role to bridge the gap. Now, with her treatment behind her, Kate has slowly begun returning to the royal spotlight. She has made appearances at events, including a visit to the Royal Marsden, the very hospital where she received her care. In a significant move, she has also been named joint patron of the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust, a position she now shares with her husband. Although she remains in recovery, her return has been careful and deliberate. She has spoken publicly about the importance of prioritizing health and the need to care for one's well-being. Her words suggest that her fight with cancer has reshaped her outlook on both life and duty. Yet despite her brave return, many have noticed a subtle change. Her demeanor seems quieter, more reflective. Some have even wondered if her return is more symbolic than substantial, perhaps intended to maintain a sense of continuity within the monarchy. With so many uncertainties surrounding the royal family, public concern is beginning to rise. Questions are being asked about the future. Who will lead during these turbulent times? How will Prince William carry the weight of the crown if both his wife's health and his own emotional well-being are strained? And if Kate is unable to fully resume her public role, what impact will that have on his reign? When the time comes for King Charles to pass and Prince William ascends the throne, will he be ready? These questions linger in the minds of many, stirring a quiet unease. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, is next in line to the British throne. As the eldest son of King Charles and the beloved Princess Diana, he carries not just royal blood, but also the hopes of a modern monarchy. He was the first heir born in a hospital, and his childhood was far from traditional. Thanks to his mother's efforts, he and his younger brother Prince Harry experienced life beyond the palace walls. They rode public buses, ate at fast food chains, and visited shelters for the homeless and abandoned. It was Diana's mission to show them the world as it truly was, far removed from the golden cage of royalty. But William's childhood was also marked by turmoil. He witnessed his parents' struggles under the glare of public scrutiny, and he lived through the heartbreak of his mother's tragic death. That loss left a permanent scar and a quiet vow within him, a promise to live differently, to lead with compassion, and to shape a future for the monarchy rooted in purpose and humanity. Prince William has long been admired for his calm demeanor and unwavering sense of duty, but it is his deep emotional intelligence and capacity for empathy that have truly shaped his public image. These traits, inherited perhaps in part from his late mother, have defined much of his work, particularly his dedication to charitable causes that span mental health, homelessness, and emergency services. Over the years, these efforts have not only strengthened public admiration for the Prince of Wales, but have also cemented his role as a modern royal with both heart and resolve. Now, as the monarchy enters a period of profound uncertainty and transition, it is William who finds himself carrying much of the institution's weight on his shoulders. With King Charles stepping back from the public spotlight due to ongoing health concerns, royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams has pointed out that the brunt of visible royal duties will now fall to William and Queen Camilla. Even so, the king remains engaged behind palace walls, quietly fulfilling his constitutional responsibilities in managing critical matters of state, often through private audiences and daily government paperwork. On February 7th of this year, Prince William made his highly anticipated return to royal duties, marking his first official appearance since news of Princess Catherine's health crisis had shaken the public. That morning, he presided over an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle, and later that evening he stepped into the spotlight once again at a prominent charity gala benefiting the London Air Ambulance. The significance of that day was not lost on royal watchers, who saw it as a sign of strength and continuity at a time when the firm appears increasingly fragile. At 41, William is not just a future king, but also a devoted father navigating the delicate balance between his public obligations and private life. In the wake of Catherine's major abdominal surgery, he made the deliberate and human choice to postpone official appearances in order to care for their three children. This decision, far from being criticized, earned him a new level of public respect and admiration. Fitzwilliams remarked that with both the king facing a serious illness and the Princess of Wales in recovery, the pool of active senior royals has grown thinner than ever. As a result, the pressure to maintain royal visibility and a sense of continuity now rests heavily on William and Camilla, who has steadily continued her royal duties with quiet grace and determination. Still, questions hang in the air. The public awaits further updates on King Charles's health and wonders when, or if, he will be able to return to a fuller public schedule. In the meantime, the spotlight remains firmly fixed on the Prince of Wales, and as the monarchy navigates this period of fragility, old traditions are once again being examined. One such custom, long unspoken but deeply ingrained, dictates that the sovereign and their direct heir should never travel together, a precaution rooted in the fear of a sudden tragedy disrupting the line of succession. This tradition has existed for generations, quietly honored as a safeguard for the crown's future. Yet William and Catherine have, on several occasions, chosen a different path. Opting for closeness and family unity over protocol, they have traveled together with their children despite the unwritten rule. One notable instance came during their private trip to the Caribbean island of Mustique, where they reportedly boarded the same flight as a family, including young George, Charlotte, and Louis. According to the Daily Mail, this act drew attention for defying the conventional wisdom that heirs should be separated while traveling. Their decision reignited debate about whether certain traditions, however sacred, must evolve with the times. The reasoning behind the rule is rooted in logic and caution. Should an unforeseeable accident claim the lives of both the monarch and their heirs, the constitutional fabric of the monarchy could be shaken to its core. But as with so many institutions rooted in history, the British royal family now finds itself at the crossroads of preservation and adaptation. Increasingly, royals are choosing to prioritize family connection over the rigidity of old customs. The image of a united royal family may now be seen as equally vital to the crown's future as its ancient protocols. The rules of succession to the throne are governed by a complex blend of heritage, legitimacy, gender, and religious affiliation. Prince William stands as the immediate heir to King Charles, and his eldest son, Prince George, follows directly after him. The line then continues by age, with Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis next in order. This lineage, while clearly mapped out, is only as secure as the individuals who carry it forward. That security now feels increasingly precarious, not only due to shifting public expectations, but also because of the very real health struggles affecting the senior royals. There is a growing sense of unease surrounding the monarchy as history begins to echo through the halls of the present. Illness seems to cast a long and sorrowful shadow over the House of Windsor. King George VI, Queen Elizabeth II's father, died of lung cancer. His brother Edward suffered from throat cancer. Now King Charles confronts his own battle with the disease, joining a line of monarchs and royal relatives who have faced similar diagnoses. It is impossible not to wonder whether these tragedies are mere coincidence or part of a deeper, more haunting pattern. Regardless of the answer, the effect is undeniable. The monarchy, often perceived as timeless and immovable, is once again revealed as a deeply human institution, vulnerable to the same fragilities as those it represents. And in this moment of reckoning, the future rests in the hands of a new generation, tasked with carrying the weight of both legacy and change. The news of King Charles's cancer diagnosis sent a ripple of concern across the globe, prompting heartfelt reactions from world leaders and dignitaries alike. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was among the first to extend his warm wishes, expressing both hope and confidence in the king's recovery. In a statement made in February 2024, Sunak assured the public, saying he was certain the king would be back on his feet soon. His words resonated with the sentiment of the entire nation, united in support of their monarch during such a difficult chapter. Not long after, former U.S. President Joe Biden added his voice to the chorus of international support. Speaking on behalf of himself and First Lady Jill Biden, he emphasized the bravery it takes to face such a diagnosis, undergo treatment, and remain hopeful throughout the healing process. He expressed their thoughts and prayers for King Charles, offering unwavering support from the American people and acknowledging the deep emotional toll such a battle can bring to both the king and his family. From across the political spectrum, another American leader, President Donald Trump, also offered warm words, calling King Charles a good and admirable man. Trump reflected on their cordial relationship during his time in office and expressed sincere hope for the king's swift recovery. His comments reminded many of the respect and camaraderie that can exist even across borders and differing ideologies when faced with shared human struggles. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also voiced his concern and solidarity. Speaking on behalf of Canadians from coast to coast, he expressed hope that His Majesty would regain full strength soon. Trudeau's message reflected the close bond between Canada and the British monarchy, a connection rooted in history but made personal by moments like these. From the Southern Hemisphere, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese echoed similar sentiments. On February 6, 2024, he addressed the Australian public, assuring them that the entire nation was thinking of the king and his family. He promised to reach out directly to the palace with his best wishes, underlining the deep affection Australians hold for the monarch and the emotional resonance of his health challenges. These heartfelt expressions of solidarity and support from world leaders serve as a powerful reminder that behind the royal titles and the protocols, there are real people facing real hardships. The royal family, already under immense pressure from public scrutiny and shifting public expectations, now faces an even greater test of resilience and unity. The outpouring of compassion from across the globe reflects a shared humanity that transcends national borders and political affiliations. At such a delicate time, one cannot help but wonder how the royal family will navigate the road ahead. The king's diagnosis, coupled with Princess Catherine's health battle, places a heavy emotional and symbolic weight on the monarchy. It is in times like these that the strength of tradition, the importance of unity, and the compassion of the public become more vital than ever. As followers of the royal family, perhaps the most meaningful thing we can offer now is understanding, patience, and kindness in the face of swirling rumors and uncertainties. What do you think lies ahead for the British royal family? Will these challenges reshape their public image, or will they emerge stronger and more connected to the people than ever before? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And before you go, explore the other videos now appearing on your screen for more fascinating stories and updates.